Well, agritourism in South Africa is becoming a product that encourages more tourists to visit the country, and particularly the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu Natal. Now, agritourism and farm stay holidays in the country have been undermarketed in the past. Howard Kelly is chairman of the Southern Explorer and vice chairman of the South Coast Tourism Board. He's also the owner of the Riverbend Crocodile Farm in South Broome on the KwaZulu Natal South Coast. Hi Howard, welcome to the show.
Hi Karen, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing up there in the South Coast?
We're sweating here at the moment. It's very, very hot and humid, but we're going through a very dry patch. But I've just been watching the weather forecast. Looks like we're getting rain tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. We could do with some of that in Cape Town. Now, on the South Coast, I know of 3 operations there that fall into this agritourism market, and it's not just the workings of the farm. There are all these little added things that they add on. I mean, just for example, the Selsdon Park estate, there's beach horse rides and motorbike and quad rides on the estate, and there's accommodation. So it's not just going to see how the farm itself works, but there's all the added bonus little extra things.
Yeah, well, you know, the South Coast has traditionally been a beach destination and offering the finest beaches in South Africa. But what we're finding more and more is that on those rainy, miserable days or on days when the wind's blowing, people are not satisfied just sitting at home and watching television. They want to get out and do something. And this is where a whole lot of new attractions have basically been born, because we find that there's a real interest and a demand for these attractions. So yeah, there's been a sort of an entrepreneurial spirit on the coast here, and a lot of people have invested money in offering tours. Coffee farms, Beaver Creek do a wonderful coffee tour down at Port Edward, as you've mentioned, Selsdon Park. And then we offer a banana farm tour, which basically takes people on an in-depth tour of the plantation and how bananas are grown, and then through the pack sheds, seeing how bananas are packed. And as I say, there has been a lot of interest, and we, over the last 6 to 8 months, we've seen a lot of repeat business, people bringing people back to come on the tours because they found it so interesting. But there's a lot of exciting things happening on the South Coast. We, as I said, are trying to break away from the mold of just being a beach destination. There's lots to do here. There's been a lot of money invested in a whole lot of new facilities. The Oribi Gorge area has become an extreme sport area, which is covered quite extensively in one of our tours in the Southern Explorer Route Guide. And so it's really the environment lending itself to these tours, to the development of different products, which has allowed owners to get involved and to start offering products. Also, our local communities getting involved. You know, there's a spin-off in many instances for the local communities, not just through employment, but through the provision of crafts and other services, which is helping everybody. So that's pretty much, as I say, what has been happening in the last 8 months, which is fantastic.
And this is a relatively new concept now, as you're saying. I mean, 8 months isn't really a long time, so there's a lot of hope for the future that there'll be a lot more development there.
No, our latest Southern Explorer magazine, which also incorporates the South Coast style, our magazine is 10 years old, but we've actually revamped it, and it now includes a lifestyle section, which is a magazine at the back on the flip side called the South Coast Style, which is the article that you read, which profiles exciting new changes and lifestyle issues. And it is a fairly new concept for the South Coast, but agritourism in Australia, for example, has been a fairly major contributor towards tourism for many, many years. And that's where we need to be going. That's what we need to be aiming at.
Now, what about accommodation on the South Coast, Howard? How are you set for that?
Accommodation, there's plenty of accommodation on the coast, and some of the finest accommodation you'll find here.
Now, what about people who want to stay on the farms or in that sort of a setting rather than staying in a 5-star luxury hotel? They'd like to sort of get the feel of the land and sort of stay there. Is there much of that available?
At the moment, not a lot, because, as I say, it's a fairly new issue for us on the coast, agritourism, but I think it's going to become offered a lot more. Here on the coast, the coastal strip where the farms are is pretty narrow, so the real accommodation is on the beach, and what we're finding for most of our tours are people who have got beach type accommodation who will then come in the afternoon on a tour or whatever the case is. But certainly inland, in the Oribi Gorge area, definitely there are farm stay type accommodation that is available, and there's lots to do in that area. So yeah, there is a lot.
And the website tourismsouthcoast.co.za, people can find out a lot about all of this on that website?
That's right, and also info@southernexplorer.co.za is a great website, and that is a website which literally covers the entire region with 9 different dedicated tours. Each tour has its own flavor in terms of its offering, and that will give you a lot of information about the area and the different products that are available.
So southernexplorer.co.za or tourismsouthcoast.co.za.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and if they want to email, it's info@southernexplorer.
Info, that's quite correct.
Okay.
Sorry,
No, that's fine. This is the website would be Southern Explorer though. .co.za. And
That's
everything
correct.
they need to know about accommodation, about the agritourism, about the tours that are being offered, that's all on either one of those 2 websites.
Either of those 2 websites. The tourism board handles all the tourist information offices, and so either would give you a lot of information.
So it sounds like it's all happening on the south coast up in KwaZulu Natal, Howard. I wish you much success into the future, and hopefully, as you say, you've done so much in 8 months. Gosh, we can only imagine what you're going to do in the years ahead. So congratulations on what you've achieved so far.
Thanks so much, and as I say, there's so many fantastic new products here. The new water park at the Wild Coast has been an absolute success, and certainly revitalized our area. And I'm just encouraging people. Beautiful place to mountain bike, wonderful beaches, and the good old South Coast.
Well, I hope they'll all come flocking up there to come and see what's going on. Howard, thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Good night to you. Howard Kelly is the owner of the Riverbend Crocodile Farm on the KwaZulu Natal South Coast. He's chairman of the Southern Explorer and vice chairman of the South Coast Tourism Board. And as we mentioned, if you'd like to find out more about what's happening on the South Coast, take a look. There's 2 websites, www.tourismsouthcoast.co.za or www.southernexplorer.co.za.